Hello everyone, this will be a full video version of the floating apartments YouTube short that I posted yesterday. So add-on will be random flow. For the base mesh, you can do whatever you like, but just keep it really low. So I'm going to copy the style of the video and use the like double cube at the start and mirror it in the y-axis. Scale it in the z-axis and apply the mirror. This is so that the random axis extrude could generate details asymmetrically. Okay, so this is the default. If you are using any of these presets and there's no actual result at the start, this is because of the minimum length right here, and you have to increase the base cut slowly to create the extrusions. Okay, so what we are going to do is just um, apply this repeatedly. There we form some or the structure. Let's set the depth match the point length. And you can actually limit the extrusion including in the same face. So duration. Okay, you can limit the extrusion on the axis using this. So X, Y, Z, and this is by column. So the three parameters here, the three column parameters correspond to this axis order right here. So in this column, the parameters correspond to the x-axis right here and to the y-axis here. And you can also just repeat it to the, so this is now x, y, x, and this parameters here now correspond to this x-axis here. So there's no longer a z-axis. Okay, let's just set it back to the z-axis. Okay, so we're going to layer another detail. So this is basically just layering details. So I created another preset here that will be for the next update. Create special. You might rename it. So this is just a temporary name. But let's use this and set even depth to on and increase the subdivision. Play around with the depth. Let's try the maze. The maze will be a new one in the next update. Here's the resolution. More. Okay. Probably introduce a margin as long as it doesn't create any spiking. There we go. And thickness, we might randomize the thick. I'll try and randomize the thickness. Then pick one of these and try it out without any subdivision. because there's already a lot of resolution, so avoid using. Okay, so try split. This will be because of the 0. So okay, 0.001 and 0.01. Then the depth is 0.001, 0.005. Okay, we're still seeing this is the depth again, and just adjust it carefully like that. Increase the cut. You might have to reduce the, probably just stay with this. And you know what? Let's just use this preset right here. Square angle 20%, which means that it's going to give us 20% of the panel islands. But let's increase this to something like 60 and play around with the depth value. Let's just use even depth and get rid of the spiking using split. Cut method split. And we're going to introduce the detail this way, but let's, for the depth, okay, 0.001 and 0.0025, and then thickness is 0.002, and then play around with the thickness of that, and increase the panel amount. There we go. So something like 80, and then we can just reapply as needed and use different seed value. Okay, and then try another random extrude, random axis extrude result using the same preset. Probably just 2 layer per random axis extrude result, and the rest will be provided. The rest of the detail will be provided by the texture. So in the next video, I might use greeble bake and random flow again to demonstrate how to create textures for this, which you can use to replace the ones that are in the preset material that comes with the add-on. Okay, this one, and then another one. So I'm going to save this floating CD number 2. Come over here, and then just match up these small details. So I'm using pre-select. You select those faces, and then probably subdivision level 1. Then add another layer. So this workflow is good for concept art if you're planning to, of course, build this kind of model. And it's really good if you have overpaint skills. And when you finish with the 3D part, you can always add more stuff using your 2D skills. Okay, now let's create these random spiking using random cells and operator presets. This one. Pull 100 individual depth and increase the subdivision to make the extrusions smaller based on the faces that they were extruded from. Okay. And then just select another, select everything using pre-select. Okay, another one. Probably this part here. There's some absence of detail, so I'm just going to add that there and choose select our work mesh from before, the original one, or just the result of this. Okay, this one. And use pre-select to select the spaces here. And use random cells to create those tiny antenna-like extrusions, just to break the surface or break the silhouette. Okay. Um, I think this one. Okay, this one here. And we're going to reapply the antenna. Go. Okay. Now we can create more another layer, which is the cables. So select this, and we're going to use the catenary, but the thing is, we have to select the plane faces that are facing towards the ground. So this one here, select this, and then Shift G, select similar by way of normal. And we're just probably going to remove some of the faces manually. So that one there, the bare bottom, and let's just use add random cables and amount 50 high slack catenary. Okay, go to the bevel, and bevel in the curves actually means the thickness of the cables. I tried to stay true to the name of the parameter as it is in Blender, but unfortunately, some people were confused by that at the start because cables, thickness of the cable, its bevel, and when you're using the mesh, bevel means smoothing out the corner of the vert or the edge. So it means a different thing in curves. And it's just a Blender thing. Okay, cables like that. Then we're going to select another one and then select a face that it's facing towards the ground. And then Shift G, select similar by way of normal. Okay, there's all the face there. There you go. And last one, I think, will be this one. Let's just see if the cables are too much or not. You can always remove them and start over again. Okay. So let's see the silhouette. So I think it's good. And what we need now is actually some sort of like floating debris. Now we can use the original work mesh, and then just select everything and random scatter points to 50. So in the preset, I'm going to use points 500 random scale and rotation, and then just explode it, and then reduce the size of the objects. So this one will be 0.005, and you can randomize the rotation here. Under scale. Okay. Let's try 3 for the z-axis. Okay. So let's set the render window. And I have here shorts for my shorts in TikTok and YouTube. Okay. And set the click on the render region toggle to render only that part. I'm going to go to track lights and disable depth of field. Okay. And focal length of 100 millimeters. To make it bigger, you can use higher. So if you're into photography, you can just copy the lenses that you have here. I used to think that 100 millimeter is too big, but you have lenses that actually go to like 800 millimeters for sports and wildlife. And then will make everything big, and you have to match it with the perspective of the dimension of the building and the texture. And you can trick the viewer to thinking, you have a lot of ways to trick the viewer to thinking that the building is really big. You can have birds in the background, you can use clouds, you can use mountains that will be relative to the object that you're making, or any other familiar objects in reality that is big, and people will of course equate to that compared to the object and determine that your model is also big. Okay. So but for this, I'm just going to use 100 millimeters. Okay. Subtle shading using vertex color. But first, selecting since I am now settled with the design of the cable, so I'm going to lose their curve type by applying them as meshes. So apply mesh. So and then also I can use random vertex color them, so because this operator can only work on meshes. Let's set this to island. There we go. And let's hide all the let's append the materials that comes with random flow. So we might use this for the exercise of creating textures in the next video, this model here. So append materials and selecting our cables. This will be just the using the flow of metal, which has no textures, and hide this, and the rest can use the one that has textures in it. And we're going to use the Airflow panel hard UV, or maybe just not bother with UVs and just use the hard underscore object mapping. Okay, now let's Alt H. Okay, now let's try and fix the scale of the. There we go. And then include our vertex color, replace this with our vertex color. Control its intensity using the overlay mix node, color mix node. Set this to 100%, the factor, and then you can use this for intensifying the bright and dark pixels. Okay, actually let's set the, let's go to film and set this toggle of transparency so we can see the sky. And in the Easter, I try to make this more cooler. Okay, so probably we can use another sky-based. To find one. We might have missed an opportunity with the first one. Okay, let's go here first and disable the edge mask. Go back to our buildings and let's kind of turn on the lights using this. Submission something like 20. And let's increase the size of the lights by decreasing the inner scale and also reducing the saturation. There we go. Now let's go back to the building and also fix the edge mask. Set the strength to point to 1 and thickness to 0.01. And then can actually you can randomize the position of the lights using the offset in the lights object. In this in the lights object node inside the RFL panel hard object material. Okay. So I want a orangey sky, just like our first one, but I think this one looks good. There you go. All this needs is a bit more compositing, and you can already see that this looks like what it was meant to be, like the floating apartments concept art. All it needs is a bit more organic feel to it. If you have overpaint, you can do it like hanging clothes and stuff, and other tiny stuff that you can add here. So more human elements right now, because we can only add hard surface stuff or like really mechanical stuff. So it's up to you to add those organic elements into the scene after you have generated the mechanical ones. Okay, you can probably introduce another light at the back here. Let's click the 3D cursor there. In order for you to stick the 3D cursor on the surface of the mesh, you can press shift space in the 3D cursor, in the viewport, and select 3D cursor. And right here in the properties such a window in the tool tab, you can toggle on surface project. So the 3D cursor can stick to the surface of any object in the scene. So this is what we're going to click on this part here and go to track lights. Track lights is included in the creative bundle, and make lamp and track. This will create a lamp and an empty on the 3D cursor, and the lamp will be what do you, will be constrained on the empty and will point on the empty wherever you uh, choose to relocate the lamp. So make lamp and track and then grab the lamp. The lamp is automatically selected after the operation, so you can just grab it and position it somewhere else. And then here with the lamp selected, you can go here and change its, we're going to use sun and change, use full up and black body. So if you're using black body, you have a choice of like Kelvin presets here. And let's change the strength to something like 1 or 5, okay, 50. And then we can rotate it by intervals of 5 degrees. You can change the interval here, or let's just use 2 and then rotate. This is a model operation. And you can what do you call it, uh, drag the mouse to rotate it, to rotate the lamp. So what is the best? This one? I think this one's really cool. And then just press space to confirm. Something like 25. There we go. I'm going to go to the cables and probably reduce uh the reflection. Probably miss scratches. It's probably the, let's go to edit mode and get rid of the overlay and change the vertex color to something darker. That, and change this to the vertex color. And then control the intensity of the color using the overlay color mix node. So the cables are black, and yeah. Problem is I think the problem is the specular. Or the specular is a lot more complicated now. It used to be just specular with one parameter. Right now we have this thing, IOR level, the tint. Okay, so let's just leave it at that. You can always go here and select the lamp and then just rotate it again. Okay, let's not be afraid of the shadow. Let's not be afraid of the light and actually just light this part of the model. Okay, I think this is good. Probably just remove this so it doesn't produce any additional processing footprint in the scene, since the shader doesn't really need it for the cable. Okay. Okay, let's select the lamp and actually raise it up a bit. There we go. Uh, I'm manipulating the location in the literal z-axis. I'm bringing it up. Okay, so rotate. The shadows are a bit weird. Okay, there we go. And smooth. Does the smooth parameter do anything with the sun lamp? Linear, constant, quadratic. Doesn't do anything. Okay, so uh, we have this. And let's try and render it. Let's go to render. And in sampling, I'm just going to use 30 samples. And in light paths, I'm just going to use limited global illumination. Just to keep everything light and fast. I have um, I have a powerful setup, but no, I always use the fastest setup for the render anyway. Anyways, okay. So go to compositing and render. So you won't see the render window because OBS can only require the main window of Blender. But you can see the progress bar right here. Okay. Set it to default. And I'm going to remove this and this. This is the map range where you can filter the highlight, use it to actually create a bunch of effects using the highlights and and you can soften this using the 2 max parameter, so 0.6 to make it softer. Just reduce its value like that. Okay, so something like 0.4. Just this to make it bluer. Okay, now we're going to sketch something on this, but we're going to need the normal. So make it look like it's some kind of sketch by drawing lines over it. But we're going to need the normal pass. Normal, there we go. And re-render this for the normal information. Okay, so go to color and mix. Color. Mix. Oh my god. Mix color. Okay, and set this to here and let's view it. And this here. Set this to difference and filter blur, blur, fast Gaussian, and fast Gaussian relative. Difference. There we go. It's just not thick enough. So we're going to use color ramp to control the intensity. Color ramp. And reverse it till we see our dark line. There we go. And we can multiply it over the texture, the render. Multiply and see our result. There we go. Now we have some kind of really fast. You don't have to. What's the feature called? I forgot what the feature is called. Drawing the lines on the edges of the model. I forgot what the feature is called. But you can create this effect using the composer. What is the feature called? I forgot what it is. Uh, Freestyle. Yeah, freestyle. So yeah, you can do a bunch of stuff in uh, inside the composer or Blender. So I think that's too dark. And you can also combine this by using like your own personal tune shader, and then you can use this technique on the composer. So you need this is what it looks like in the pixel level, but you can by increasing the render size, you can make this a bit better. So let's try it. Let's try 200% render. So a bigger render map or size. Okay, it's close. And let's just close this window. Okay, so it's getting a bit better. You have this, so something like 0.8. There we go. And here you can see that it is a bit uh, it looks a bit more like a drawing. And we can do something more. We can degrade this, actually degrade this to make it more sketch-like, and that is using another normal node, which I hope I can find. Uh, Filter. It's in filter. I know it's in filter. So dilate road. There you go. I Actually it's another node, but you can use this. There you go. Let's try this one. Probably one, just one value. There we go. Let's try the other options. Threshold. What is this? What is this? Sorcery. The other one, distance and feather. It's feather. Feather is a bit smoother, but I guess you can just use step and just use distance of 1. But you can use let's set this to 0.005. There we go. So let's use the other one. So you can use dilate road, and then you can use another one here, bilateral blur, and use the normal on this one here, and the determinator, and then what is this? Color space 1, 4. So you can use this. You can just adjust this settings here to degrade the texture or the image. Let's try it. Combine. Okay. Now this looks a little more like watercolor, but I think I like the erode more. What's the noise? The speckle. And let's try the feather. There we go. And for the dark part, you can lighten the dark part by adding lighten and setting this to 0.01. And you can also use color. So it'll be subtle, but you can see it. Let's try blue. There we go. Make this a bit higher, 0.02. Okay, so this only affects the dark parts of the pixels and leaves the brighter pixels alone. Okay, so I think the image has become grayscale, but you can just um, put color here. Let's see. Dilate, erode, and move. Set this to color. Okay. There. Oops. There you go. So this setup here. The color, the original render will provide the color, and dilate erode is going to be on the A or on the top socket, which will erode the image and make it kind of like a sketch. And then we have our lines. There we go. Our lines from this setup here, and we have our render right here, which looks like it's kind of drawn. Yeah. And the good thing about this is you can animate this, but I'm not gonna do that in this video because maybe I can and just add it in post. Okay, let's actually see it in another view. Oh, this is too bright because of the sun. Um, let's render it this way, like the whole thing. Okay, and try and see it. So if you have overpaint skills, you can use these methods to give you a great start. There you go. Okay, I'm seeing the render. Okay, so it looks painterly. Yeah. Yeah, so this is this goes beyond the YouTube short because of the compositing techniques or tricks that we did to make this look like a sketch without actually using the what do you call it? I forgot it again. Freestyle. But the if you're using freestyle, it is much more powerful and much more exact. But if you like everything that really sketch, like everything's dirty or something, you can use this method. Like the brush is like a real brush, you know. So, but you can achieve the same result using freestyle, of course, because you can edit the lines to make it uh, like uh, like a brushstroke of a 2D artist which has happy accidents. You can actually just do that. But this method, of course, is faster and it's great for just stuff like this, which is angular architectural uh, models. Okay, so yeah, that is it for this video, and I hope you learned something new about the add-on. If you have any questions, just the comment section below or the links in the description or the Discord link in the add-on, which is in the usage info button right here. And again, subscribe, like, comment, and share. Referral links in the description of the video. And yeah, thank you for watching. And oh, before I go, you could like or comment in this video or actually just comment on this video to see what you like, to see what you like and what you want to see next. Just some interaction to help the YouTube algorithm to show this video to more people. Okay, so thanks. Yeah, thank you for watching and have a nice day.